Eric here from Smo'King Barbecue Tips and Recipes with my whole family. I got my wife Monica,
Hi.
my son Kyle, and my daughter Ava Grace, and we're doing something a little different today. We are driving an hour away from where we live to go to Crystal Cave. It's a cave located in Spring Valley, Wisconsin.
Yep, it's the longest cave in Wisconsin.
The longest cave in Wisconsin. We're going there on a homeschool field trip. We did call ahead. They said we're going to be allowed to film down there. We're taking a private tour, and yeah, we're going to take you guys along. I have no idea what to expect. I remember going to a cave maybe when I was like 12 or 13 years old near the Wisconsin Dells somewhere. But other than that, I don't know much about caves other than they're dark, damp, and there's bats that live down there. So come along with the whole family as we go to Crystal Cave. Alright guys, we are here. Alright, let's go check out Crystal Cave. Kyle's already wearing a Crystal Cave sweatshirt.
Oh yeah, show the camera.
Yeah.
Crystal Cave right there that he got. When did he get that?
When we first moved here, we got it at an online auction.
Well,
it happened to be his size.
There's some stuff over here. Oh, there's the miniature golf over there.
Let's
go to the main building here. It's very nice.
And we'll get us checked in.
Alright guys, we got around 20 minutes before our tour starts. Off to the side here, they have a little mini golf. But it is a beautiful day here in Wisconsin. Perfect weather. The main building's over there.
All these stairs are going down. You're
Heading down into the cave.
Oh no, up is not easier. Not for old people. Whoa. Okay, you got it.
You have it?
Iron?
That's right, it is iron. Now, iron is often mined, not just in Minecraft, but real life too. So, even though there was a mining industry here in the 1890s to 1910s, there was never actually mining done in Crystal Cave, as this is just the largest deposit of the iron, so they didn't think it was enough to go after. Now, moving to the right of it, if we see this kind of grayish-green band, this is something called illite clay. And it's really, really sticky. It's oftentimes used in things like paint, makeup, or make the pages of magazines glossy and shiny. All right, but you guys have come to Crystal Cave today. I'm sure you want to see some crystals.
Not a groundhog, these days.
Called microorganisms. Alright, I know this is kind of an awkward spot to stop, but we'll move on pretty quick here. But as we're looking back where we came from, we can see a really great view of that slide that the Passageways came down on. So they came down the rope all the way from the surface down to about this rock wall here. At the time, they would not have been able to go any farther because our third level was filled with mud, loose rock, and dirt. Now that third level was completely filled up by the glaciers melting about 12 to 20,000 years ago. And it wasn't until the 1940s when anybody started to clear out that third level to see what we have. We'll talk about that process here a little bit more in our next room, but as we're headed that way, we're going to need to watch our heads. There's quite a few low-hanging rocks throughout the tour today. I'll point them out to you guys as well as remind myself of them. Starting with this one, this is Headache Rock. And he does live up to his name. So be sure to duck underneath or lean to the right. We don't want you to leave our cave with a headache today.
And what? You're pretty tall.
There's one later you'll have to duck before you have your knee doesn't go out and right there. Stop the silver knees.
That was wet here.
ballroom. This is named a ballroom for a few reasons, one of which it is the largest room here in Crystal Cave, but there was also a wedding held in here in 1991. For the bridegroom, as well as many of their guests, were amateur geologists, cave explorers, so they were very comfortable in this cave environment. So we can oftentimes find different animals very comfortable in caves. I do have some examples on my board here if you want to take a look. We have the troglobites, trogophiles, and the troglozines. These are all different types of cave dwellers you can find. The troglobites, these are the animals that will spend their entire life in a cave. So they're not going anywhere. They're more often found in underwater cave environments. So things like fish, crayfish, salamanders. Now, naturally in caves it is completely dark. There's no electricity for one, but no natural light to seep down into the rock. So these animals are living in complete and total darkness, and ways they've adapted to that is by not having any camouflage. They don't need it in that complete darkness. Or they are blind and don't have eyes at all, as another adaptation. The second group here is the troglophiles, and these are animals that like the cave environment, but they do need to be able to see where they're going. So they're more often found at cave entrances. These are the creepy crawly things like spiders, crickets, salamanders, snakes, things like that. So we're too deep into the cave to where they would like to be. Now the third group here is troglozines, and these are animals more commonly associated with caves, but these are the ones that will just come for a little while and visit, whether it be for hibernation, nesting, giving birth, running away from boys with sticks, whatever they might be.
Running away from boys.
Yeah. Just like that woodchuck.
I'm gonna go down.
Now, these are things like our bats, owls, raccoons, and even bears. But don't worry, it's just okay, we don't have any bears in here. Our entrances are too small to let them in, but we do get quite a few bats. There are 4 different species that will hibernate with us: the little brown bat, the big brown bat, the tricolor bat, and the northern long-eared. Now, all 4 of these are over the spring and summer eating a lot of our bugs and mosquitoes, thankfully. Just one bat in one night can eat up to 3,000 insects alone. They're eating up that much to build up a fat storage inside of them. Keeps them nice and warm, not hungry, so they don't need to wake up while they're hibernating. So these are some of our first cave formations that we're seeing today. We'll see a lot more of these as we continue on. This is one spot where I'd just like to stop and talk about our no touching policy one more time, because this is an example of things that can stop growing completely just from that oil in our hands. So as we're admiring these formations as we continue on, just keep that in the back of your mind. So we're going to see much larger ones here as we're going on. If you guys want to lead the way, take a right around that pillar, stop at the silver gate, take a look to the right and left at our inverted forest. Very interesting tool.
I would love to explore it.
Oh, why are you over there? Yep. Well, yeah. Oh, sorry, it's a tool room. Very dark room.
But it got really hard to turn around.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I'm still getting past shovels and pickaxes up and down for years. Oh my gosh.
And that was before they would have built the stairs and ramps too, so they were actually bringing you right back up the slide.
It's nuts. I did all of that. Wow, that's amazing.
Are called stalactites, and the ones from the floor are stalagmites. Now, scientists like to name things very similarly, so we had to come up with a way to recognize the difference. Stalactites hold tight to the ceiling so they don't fall, and stalagmites might get stepped on.
Unless they're like some of those stalagmites that are like 50 feet tall.
That's true. Then you might just trip around it.
Yes. Or you might be running around and go, ouch.
That's possible, but do you see any of the meat in the middle of the stalactites and stalagmites? Those are called columns. Now, all of these are formed by the carbonic acid that is dripping on us, forming our cave. As it continues to run and drip and dissolve through the dolostone, it will dissolve dissolve the mineral calcite. As it continues to run through the rock, it will add that and deposit it on the walls, ceilings, and floors of caves. Now, here in Crystal Cave, we have estimated that it takes about 100 years for these to grow 1 inch. So, these might look like little babies, but they're actually pretty old and they've been working pretty hard. Another kind of formation we can see is right behind me here. This is flowstone, named for the way it will flow on a thick sheet in the walls and floors of caves.
Take this off of me. Whoa, look at this. That looks like calcite.
It is. That is flowstone on a fence. Rather than all over the floor. You were the last one this time, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
I stay behind just for that reason.
Just making sure I can count.
Yes, when you see me, you know you're good.
All right, welcome to the ghost room. Spooky. No actual ghosts in here. I'm gonna squeeze past you guys here. But it's named after the face in the rock right behind you guys here. You guys want to go around?
Oh, wow.
So you can see. No photograph of this space was taken in 1942, sold on a postcard up in the gift store. And it was one of the first forms of advertisement here at Crystal Cape. See where it is? Eyes, nose, mouth, even a little chin. There. Must have worked pretty well as we were still giving tours to this day. There is also still a postcard upstairs with this face on it. It's classic. Alright, well we have been in a cave for over half an hour now, and we actually haven't talked about what makes a cave a cave, rather than just a really big hole in the ground. You can't dig a hole in your backyard and call it a cave. There are some qualifications. One is it has to be naturally formed. And as we talked about, that carbonic acid is completely natural. Secondly, is it also needs to be humanly accessible. Well, here we are, a bunch of humans in here, but that also does include small crawl spaces as well. Now, third and finally, I don't think that goes very far, but yes. Now, third and finally is something we have yet to actually experience, and that is that caves can reach complete and total darkness. Now, that's pretty easy for us to experience. All I have to do is flip a light switch. So, we're going to do that little experiment in here so you guys can really experience what it's naturally like down here. So, a few things to talk about before I do go turn off the lights. It's going to be pretty dark in here. The rocks are still there, though, and they still do hurt. So try not to move around too much. Try to keep your feet planted where they are. Find a comfy spot. Hold on to a scared adult. Things like that. Now, also, if you need the lights back on, let me know. I have a flashlight in hand the whole time. I can turn it on right away for you guys. So just let me know. All right, I'm going to squeeze past everybody here. Turn off the main lights, and then I'll have a flashlight countdown before it's completely dark.
Josie, come here. Stand still, because she's gonna turn the lights off. She just said that.
Ready? Are we ready? Okay, I'm going to turn this flashlight off. In 3, 2, 1. Can you see anything?
No.
Alrighty, welcome into our fossil room. In here I do have some fossils to show you guys, all from that Ordovician time period when the rock around us was forming. So this first one I'm going to talk about is a cephalopod. That's this big squid-looking guy. Now cephalopod, that word means head, foot, because his head was right by his feet, or in this case his tentacles. Now, the cephalopods of the Ordovician time period were huge. Just their shell could grow to be 12 to 15 feet long, giving them the names the terror of the sea. Now, the shell, this would grow with them, so as they would age, they would add onto their shell with these shell divisions, and these represent different periods of growth. Now, on top of our fossil here, we can see those shell divisions pretty clearly up at the top.
Did that fossil originate in here?
This one's not from our cave, but it is from local areas, only about 20 minutes away in River Falls. So, not too far. The next one here I'm going to talk about is a gastropod. Gastropod means stomach foot because the stomach is on top of his foot. Now looking at these guys, what do they kind of look like?
Snails.
That's right, these are the ancestors of modern day snails.
I see.
Now, there's a few of those in here. We have one right up here, but then we also have one right by your foot. This one we call Gary. He's pretty nice.
I thought last time I was here, I remember.
Alright. Next I'm going to talk about a crinoid. Now looking at this, do you think it is a plant or an animal?
Plant.
It looks very plant-like. Even the people who named this named it lily-like, but it is actually an animal. It's a filter feeder, so things like coral or sea anemones. These would wave their arm-like structures up in the water to filter in microorganisms, things like that to eat. Now these crinoids did have a long stem, which makes it a little bit more tricky of deciding if it's a plant or an animal. But this stem was divided into a bunch of itty-bitty segments that would break apart and spread all across the ocean floor when they would die. So right by my thumb here is an intact stem of a crinoid. And the circles that kind of look like Cheerios or SpaghettiOs, they're not, don't eat them. Those are those crinoid segments.
Crunch. Oh, I broke my teeth.
Now last but not least is our trilobite. Trilobite, that word means three-lobed for the three vertical segments that it has. Now on average, these guys are about 1/2 inch to 3 inches long, but could also only be about the size of your fingernail in this area. The largest trilobite fossil we have found was up in Canada, and that one was to be 3 feet long. So they did have quite the wide range of growth. These have lots of little legs that stick out the side, as well as feelers to help them scurry across the ocean floor. Very closely related to things like horseshoe crabs nowadays. Now our trilobite of this guy, this is Tony. He is actually from Morocco. So since he's not from a local area, if you'd like to pet him, you're more than welcome to. Can you not hang on that on? Please hang on.
Oh, so nice. What's that?
It's a trilobite. Alrighty, welcome to Trails End. This isn't actually the end of the tour, that's just what we call it. There's a few other formations we can see in here. If we look right above our heads, these might look like every other stalactite we've seen so far. But these are actually something different, as they are hollow in the middle, giving them the name soda straws. They are extremely fragile. Once they reach to be about 1 foot or 2 long, they'll actually break off from their own weight.
Oh, I see 3 that are broken and they're hollow inside.
I don't know if these have broken quite yet. It's possible. Squeeze it up here. Right up above my head here, this is something called cave drapery, named for the way it drapes over the rock. Geologists are very creative in their naming process and formations. Now if you guys do come back in the few thousand years like I mentioned before, this will be touching the floor, kind of like curtains in your house, or drapes. Now back here, this is something called cave ribbon. Now cave ribbon, it looks like ribbon. This is what forms on sloped ceilings. Rather than the calcite dripping straight down, it will deposit it running across sloped ceilings. Oh, just wait. Over here, kind of like the cave ribbon, this one has a striped color. Now does this one look more like bacon than that one?
Yeah.
This one is called cave bacon. It's pretty cool.
Let's cook it.
Might be a little already crispy. Now the striper color that you see is actually an iron impurity, so that would be the iron that we saw earlier in our cave.
Why don't you do tours back there?
That's about as far as it goes. There's not much there.
This way on top. Getting deja vu. Getting deja
You want to
vu.
see in here really quick? A little bit more sense.
Yeah.
What do you guys see?
Penny.
Yeah, coins, lots of coins. There's money in our wallets. This is our wish room. And in 1942, when we first opened for tours, they used to like to ask people a wish in the room, kind of by leaving a coin. If their coin stuck, that means their wish would come true. Now, obviously, this is not good for cave conservation, so we no longer do this. We stopped doing this in about 2012. We also don't take any of these coins out because that could also be very damaging for the cave. We do still believe that all of these coins hold the magic in here while they're still here. So if you'd like to make a wish, we ask you to do so by using one of the coins that are already here.
Mom, can I see this?
They didn't get their wish, they at least got their money back. Well, I'm going to radio to the surface, let them know we're on our way back. This is Ari leaving the wish room. And you can follow me back up this way. Be sure to still watch your head. This has not gotten any smaller since we've been in here.
Money.
I'll have to look and see when we go out.
All right, guys, we just got done with the Crystal Cave tour. I thought it was pretty informative and entertaining. I definitely like the temperature down there compared to up here at the surface. What you think, Monica?
I thought it was really good too. It was cool being able to be in a real cave, and it wasn't like something that was man-made, and it's the first time for me, so I really enjoyed it.
Yeah,
It was cool.
and you guys liked it, Ava Grace?
Yeah, it was really interesting.
And it was nice and cool on this warm day.
Yes, and yeah, Kyle almost did a serious headbutt on that one part of the cave.
On headache rock.
Headache rock. They had a headache rock and a migraine rock. You got to be careful, duck down. But yeah, it was interesting. I had a lot of fun. So if you're in the Wisconsin area, what is this? Pleasant Valley? What was it called?
Spring Valley.
Spring Valley, Wisconsin. I would definitely recommend it. It's just over an hour tour, and
And if you
very
have little
informative.
kids,
Yeah.
you have little kids, they have a mini golf. It's all themed around
Yeah, I
like
showed a little
dinosaurs
picture
and
of that
fossils.
earlier.
Okay, so
Yeah.
it looks kind of cool for like little kids. And then they have gem panning, and yeah.
Yeah, so, a fun family activity for sure. As always, guys, I appreciate you stopping by and watching my video. I'll leave links above and below to my website featuring cooking and smoking videos, ericsmokingbbq.com. Please like, subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Bye.